How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on the channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. Bitcoin senators are a news push to remedy crypto erratic regulatory framework. So Cynthia Lummis is working with Senator Kristen, and they announced that they're working on a renewed bill to push and pass updated versions of crypto regulation bill that they co-sponsored last year. They listed out all the changes. They show that crypto is here to stay and want to make sure people get that point across. They want the exchanges to register with the CFTC. They want safeguards to protect customers so they don't have an FTX style blowout, and various other things. You can read here if you want to read every single thing that's in the bill, but they are trying to work on pushing forward some crypto legislation that will help us. US government preparing to sell Silk Road Bitcoin again? Here's what's going on. Crypto wallets belonging to the Department of Justice on Wednesday moved $300 million in BTC to new addresses in 2 transactions. In the past, they've done this because they want to sell off Bitcoin, but not always. It's just usually the case, so there's a high percentage that could be the case. In March, they sold $215 million worth of the digital gold or Bitcoin. At the time, they said they planned to dump another $1.1 billion. So them moving coins could be in alignment with them selling some. It's been about 3-4 months, so they may sell off some. And they might do it like every few months, so this would be a pretty decent timing to see that. Coinbase introduces messaging service to its self-custody wallet. So Coinbase is kind of trying to be like Telegram and stuff. Coinbase users can now communicate using encrypted messages through Coinbase Wallet. This service was built in collaboration with startup XMTP that uses the firm's open source Web3 messaging network. This is a Texas-based company. Coinbase's wallet's messaging service supports Ethereum addresses that are human readable, including those that leverage the ENS service or Ethereum name service. This is as opposed to your X0123, all those goofy characters and letters that make no sense. This is something that like John.eth, something like that, where it's easy to read. An end user's inbox is portable and interoperable with all other supporting apps, so one user's choice to use a particular app versus another does not require their recipient to do the same. So you might have apps where you could choose one messaging service across various apps and see all your messages across various apps in one hub. That would be pretty cool to see. Coinbase Wallet's messaging feature also allows users to make cryptocurrency payments as well. So this is good because cryptocurrency payments is something that every crypto hater I talk to says, I'm not into crypto until I can make a payment with it. So hopefully this is a step forward to that. It's going to parallel services like PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. The exchange said that messaging feature supports thousands of coins at launch, so we'll have to see what those coins are. Likely anything labeled as security won't be on there if it's not on Coinbase already. So CPI rose 2% over last month and 3% over the prior year. So this is a slight increase from May's 0.1% month-over-month increase, but a slowdown in the annual gain. So annually we're not increasing as much, but over the last couple months our increase has started to rise. So we would need to keep an eye on that. Both measures were better than economists' forecasts. They thought we would have a 0.3 month-over-month increase and a 3.1 annual increase, but we only had the 0.2% month-over-month and 3% year-over-year. But that could be bad for us because they said they wanted to see how the economy is doing, and if CPI is decreasing, it's probably more likely that we're going to see rate hikes. So now over on the charts, we are getting a little bit of a descending candle for our total market cap for everything excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Our RSI is starting to curve, our stochastic's starting to curve, so those are setting up a little bit of bearishness that could happen. Our momentum's starting to curve as well, and our VWAP is also starting to curve. Money flow doesn't know if it wants to go bullish. We have a very slight peak in the bullish territory, but if we get another red candle, it's likely we'll push back into the bearish territory. For Bitcoin dominance, we're kind of still gridlocked. Got a little bit of a pump yesterday, but we're starting to fall. Almost a bearish engulfing candle, but nothing exciting. Wouldn't expect too big of a drop unless we get more red candles. RSI is starting to curl off, momentum's starting to curl off, our money flow is coming down from that new high. We just flashed a red dot that wants to confirm on our momentum. So that means this VWAP could break into the bearish territory. If that does happen, we could get a red dot that could bring us even lower and set up some bearish momentum. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are getting a slight pullback. We got this, tried to push up with this big wick, but we got a long upper shadow candle here. So we do have a bigger body. So sellers tried to push us up, but they got suppressed again, just like this last one. So we could see a bit of a downtrend, as this is the second time it's happened, if we don't get a big green candle like this to fill the wick right away. Our RSI is starting to weaken, stochastic's coming down, momentum's coming down, VWAP is in the bearish territory, starting to slightly reject away. It does want to curl up with tomorrow's candle, but I'd ignore that until we get a little more action. Our money flow does also want to curl up, but again, if we do start to push down more tomorrow and this doesn't just be a flat candle, that's why they want to curl up, because it's saying that the bears have no strength, because this candle just opened. Over on Bitcoin, we are pushing below our support, so we broke through it, but we got rejected by our ascending channel, so we'll get into that. RSI is coming down, stochastic's coming down. Again, if you're not familiar with the patterns, please see my patterns video. I know the audio on my playlist sucks. I'm going to be redoing those in the near future. Once we get this 3D printer to work properly, I almost got it, but it managed to clog on me. So, gotta fix some stuff still, almost done tuning it. Also, like this video if you're finding this information useful and you like our daily content. Also, subscribe if you haven't, and check out our link down below for Reaper Apparel Co. This is some very nice merchandise they have. Stochastic is pushing down, RSI is starting to push down, our VWAP is starting to push down, money flow is starting to reject away. So if that money flow keeps coming down, we could see some further downside. This is a pretty strong point here. We have a lot of volume in this range, so if we get a green candle to push us back through that support, we could solidify this range. Could have a volume profile here as we've been stretching for quite some time, but that's beside the point. If we do get a green candle, we could push off of this higher volume node, and that could set up some bullish action. However, if we fall below this and set red candles, we're going to go to our value area high, at which point if we break that, then our next stop's our point of control. Just keep in mind, we do have this big ascending channel, and ascending channels, as you saw, dropped us down, so this could be a bearish pattern. But zooming way back in, that way we can look at the 4-hour finally. We are starting to break away. You can see the channel a little better on like the 1 and 2 hour. But we are getting a manipulation X that did push us down through that support zone. So now it's resistance. Our candle is trying to come up. We're going to see if we can retest and break through. If we retest and reject away, then we could just drop down. Stochastic's pushing away. RSI wants to come up, but not really too strong if the stochastic's going to weaken on us. Money flow is trying to push up, but our VWAP is pushing down. So money flow wants to go bullish, but our momentum and VWAP are coming out, as well as our stochastic. So overall, not looking too strong currently on the 4-hour. Around the 2-hour, our RSI is starting to curl over. Stochastic's getting a bullish cross. Money flow is starting to reject away from that neutral. Our VWAP is coming up, so our momentum might be able to get a green dot if that continues and we break through that neutral. However, if we start to curl away, we could get a bit of a rejection and another downswing. Over on the 1-hour, I believe this is where I drew the ascending channel, so you have more touches here on the top and a few more touches on the bottom. This is just a big breakout. We were like back here when I said it on Twitter and in our Discord, so if you're not into the Discord and you want these updates, get in. Check that link down below. RSI is starting to fall, stochastic's starting to fall, money flow is starting to come out. Our VWAP wants to go bullish, but it's struggling. So if our VWAP starts to curl away from here, we could set up some bearish action, invalidate this green dot, and see the momentum wave curl back down. So just keep an eye out for that, as that could happen. Over on graph for the daily, looked like a bit of an up channel there, but we'll get to that. We are getting a little bit of a green candle. This is a potential bottoming sign. We have this doji candle with our long lower shadow candle where sellers tried to push us lower. They weren't successful. We have a doji candle where there was indecision in the market. And now we are getting a green candle where we're pushing up and trying to fill these wicks. So our next candle is going to be pretty important. If we get a green candle, we could push through and potentially test this top and maybe these wicks and potentially this wick, but we'll have to see. If we get a red candle, then we could see some more bearish action. RSI is trying to come up, stochastic's getting really tight, wants to get a bullish cross, so if it does get a bullish cross, that could help push us forward. We are just above that neutral, so that would maintain bullish momentum on our RSI. Our money flow is trying to break through that neutral. We keep rejecting away just before it, so just watch out, because if the next few candles we just curl away, then it's likely we could get this to just roll over on us and become another downswing. Our VWAP is trying to break through that neutral, so that wants to give our momentum a green dot. We'll have to see if it breaks through and that curl solidifies with the green dot or not. Over on the 4 hour, we're getting a little bit of a reversal arrow here, so that's not too good. That signals we could see a bit of a downtrend as we were coming up and then going sideways, so that could either mean we're going to see a downtrend or could see a little bit of more upside, because if it's signaling based off of this sideways, that would signal that we could go either way. If it's signaling based off this rise, then we could drop. Stochastic is starting to fall. It looks like it does want to get a bullish cross. RSI is trying to skyrocket up. Our momentum's trying to push forward. VWAP is struggling, so pay attention to this VWAP. If it continues to struggle and rolls over, then it's likely this reversal arrow will play bearishly. Our money flow also is struggling to flip into the bullish territory. If we get rejected with the money flow as well, then that could push us down. But if we do manage to cross pretty strongly, we could see a continued move upwards. Over on the 2 hour, this is a bit of an ascending channel, so if you drew, here's our parallel, draw here. So we could see a bit of a decrease if this channel persists. Might be able to do more of a rising triangle actually. Let's do trend line. Nope. Slight incline there, go away. And a bit of a ascending wedge, so that's not good for us, as an ascending wedge is a bearish pattern that can break us down. So we could get a little bit of a push down, as that's a slight ascending wedge, not a up channel. But an up channel is a descending pattern too. So our stochastic is pushing down, so even though both say ascending, they make you descend. Kind of confusing. Momentum's coming down with a green dot. Our money flow is trying to ramp up. VWAP is trying to break through that neutral, so we'll have to see if that VWAP gains some strength. If it doesn't gain some strength, we could see it push down as we're coming up toward the top of this channel. If we push down or just come up above it and peak down, then we could see that breakdown. However, if we break through and continue up, then we could push through this Fibonacci zone. So those are our possibilities, as we could have this big ascending, actually that's a descending triangle too. So we could have a pretty big descending triangle here too that could want to push us down as well. So I would really watch if this 1 hour money flow starts to flip bearish. If it does, then we would be more likely to see a decline. Our money flow is struggling. It's at the 16 zone, so this is a bit of a resistance area. If it pushes away from this area, then it's likely we'll see some downside, and we could see this break down as we've had multiple touches to the top already. RSI is curling away. Stochastic's starting to curl away. So that stochastic rounds off. It's just above that bearish territory. So if it curls away and pushes down here, then we could give our RSI bearish momentum. Momentum wants to come up, but if this VWAP starts to kind of curl off, we could be in trouble. currently is holding some strength, so keep an eye out for a curl or it to flatten out, as if it flattens out then pushes down, that would be kind of an indicator before this momentum would start to get red down and push us down. Over on Anchor for the daily, we are getting a little bit of an indecision candle. Wanted to go up, didn't really go anywhere. We're pretty much gridlocked where we opened. Stochastic's trying to push us up. We have an ascending channel here, or ascending wedge here too, so that could push us down. Gonna move this out. So we did get 2 touches. Usually you'll get 3, like we had 3 on graph on the lower time frames. We might have more here. RSI is starting to bend over. Stochastic's wanting to ramp up, but if it starts to push down, we could see a bearish divergence take us down. Our momentum's trying to come up, VWAP's trying to come up, money flow is in the bullish territory, so that is good. If this maintains and continues upwards, we could see some bullish action. Over on the 4 hour, now that bullish action might just take us to the top of the channel, where we could get rejected from, so just keep that in mind as well. Our stochastic's pushing down, our RSI wants to make a bounce, so momentum wants to pull up as our VWAP is trying to curl up. So if our VWAP pushes through that neutral, that may give our momentum enough strength to kind of push us higher. Money flow wants to get a bit of a bounce right here around that 6 to 8 zone, where we've had multiple kind of dips and bounces from. So that could set us up for a bit of a swing up as well. So just watch if that does come through that neutral and cross through, as it could push us higher. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic wants to get a bullish cross, RSI wants to push us higher. Our money flow is coming up, did make a bit of a curl. We are struggling around this 15 though, which we can't manage to get too far above in many regions except back here. So just keep an eye out if we start to push down, because if we push down, we could get rejected from the zone and money could start to come out. We have a manipulation X here too that could push us lower, so I would definitely keep an eye on that. This could be a shoulder, a head. We could come up, form a shoulder, make a slanted head and shoulder. That could bring us down to the bottom, where we might break down. If that VWAP can push us through that neutral and give that momentum a green dot, then we could see some bullish action, but that's going to be dependent on if this manipulation X carries some weight or not. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is overall trending down, even though price is going up, so we have a bit of a bearish divergence there. Stochastic's trying to push up, VWAP's trying to push up, money flow is struggling, it's starting to curl off. So if we break through the zone, we could see some bearish action. Momentum wants to come up, but if that VWAP starts to pull under, if that money flow starts to come out, then we could see some more red dot invalidate this push up, and we could get a bit of a dip down. So over on XRP for the daily, we are starting to push down to toward the bottom of our descending wedge. So this is counter to anchor and graph, where this is a bullish pattern. So might break out, could come down, hit this, and then break through. We'll have to watch. Stochastic's starting to bend, RSI is starting to weaken. Our money flow is coming up, VWAP is starting to head down. Our momentum's coming down as our VWAP's about to break through that neutral. So if our VWAP goes bearish, we may get a red dot that could bring us lower. Over on the 4 hour, we have a manipulation X playing against us that wants to push us down. We're trying to get a kind of bullish engulfing candle, so we'll have to see if that can push us through and break us up early. If so, that would be good. We did get 2 touches here, 3 if you count here and here. So this kind of short stop could make us come up and break through, so we could break higher. That would take us toward this resistance area. However, if we start to push back, we could break somewhat later, which wouldn't get us quite as high, and that would push us toward the 50-cent resistance area. Stochastic wants to get a bullish cross, RSI wants to point up, so we'll have to see if that stochastic can cross up. Money flow is trying to push into the bullish territory, VWAP's trying to push up. Our momentum is coming down, but if that VWAP continues up, we could see some bullish action. Over on the 2 hour, we have a double manipulation X that's bringing us down, so just be cautionary as we could see some more downside. If they don't always just dump you down, this one did, this one didn't. So take it with a grain of salt if you want. RSI is starting to curl over, stochastic is trying to push up. Our money flow is in the bullish territory, but overall losing strength. Our VWAP's trying to push through that neutral, but not looking too strong currently. We'll have to keep an eye on it. If it pushes higher, that will be good for us, but if it starts to curl over, we could see some bearish action. That momentum does have a green dot because of that VWAP going bullish, but like I said, keep an eye on it. Over on the 1 hour, we are trying to get a little bit of a rejection. So we had a slight up channel and now we're getting a red candle. Right here we had a slight up candle and then a drop. So just watch out if that becomes a pattern. Stochastic's trying to push high. RSI's overall pushing down though, so those aren't really in agreement. Money flow struggling to go over this 14, so we could see a rejection here. Our VWAP's starting to curl over. Our momentum wants to come up, but as that VWAP curls over, it's likely we'll see a red dot, and that red dot could bring the momentum down. Finally, over on Algo for the daily, if I can click the right button there, we are getting a bit of a push down, so we are filling these wicks, kind of like I warned about. So just watch if we do keep going down, as it's likely we could fill the majority, if not all, and then beyond some of this wick. As one of the Algorand governance places did close down yesterday because they just didn't want to get involved with being labeled as security. Our stochastic's pretty beat down, RSI is overall coming down, money flow starting to curl away, VWAP is struggling to get through that neutral, so if our VWAP gets rejected here, we're likely going to see a pretty decent downtrend. Momentum's coming down. It did want to curl, but right now it's starting to look like it wants to reject, as that VWAP looks like it could roll over. So just keep an eye on the next few candles for sure, next few days. We are potentially making if we get push up here, we could make a double bottom that could push us up higher. But if we just dump down below this zone, then that's not likely going to happen. Stochastic's rejecting away, RSI is starting to reject away, our VWAP is pushing through that neutral, so our VWAP is in the bearish territory. Money flow is breaking down, making lower lows, so that's not too good. Our momentum has a red dot that is pushing us down, so overall we have more things working against us than for us on the 4 hour. Over on the 2 hour here, we are kind of just getting these little ups and downs, so a little bit of a rounding action. So we may get a bit of a increase, but then we could see another decrease. If that does become a trend, that would be a descending channel that could push us up, but just watch out as it could be a slow bleed down for a while. Our stochastic is pushing down, RSI is pushing down, our momentum's pushing down, VWAP's trying to come up, so if that does come up, break through that neutral, our momentum could get a green dot. Money flow is trying to push through this 11, kind of bounce off it. If it can, we could set some bullish action for our money flow if it manages to break through that neutral. So definitely keep an eye on the next few 2 hour candles and see where that goes. Over on the 1 hour, we could make that double bottom here as well, so we are getting some green candles that want to push us up, so keep an eye out. Our RSI is starting to lose strength, stochastic's starting to curl over and lose strength, so that's not too good. We'll need that stochastic to roll over and push up, kind of like it did back here when we pushed up. Momentum wants to come up, but that VWAP's struggling to get through that neutral. If the VWAP rolls over here, then it's likely we could see some more downside from here. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.